Hello everybody and welcome to the stream today where I am streaming from my basement. I'll spare you my the image of my face in a basement. So here's what I want to discuss with you today. I want to tell you about a specific type of software that I've never seen anybody use in research, or at least management research, but which I find super useful. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually just going to use the one example of the software, which is Aeon Timeline, and I'm going to just use the website of the software to talk a little bit how I think it is useful in research, and especially in qualitative research. So, Aeon Timeline is basically a piece of software that does timelines, right? So here you have, I'll zoom in, a timeline of a set of space missions, right? So a timeline is basically an organized set of events that happen across time. So here you have the years, and here you have the events. Already here we see that some features that can help us in qualitative research. So in qualitative research, normally, if you do an ethnography, for example, for a year, then different things happen at different times. And Aeon Timeline allows you to tag them for location and allows you to tag each event with specific keywords. And then, there's a bunch of color coding and so on. Okay, so at its basic, timeline software allows you to develop a graphical representation of all of the events that happen through your qualitative research and label and tag those events across different axes, including location and keywords. Okay, now this is the visualization that I think is really powerful and really shows the how this type of software can be used in qualitative research. Here, what we have is a list of events, and here's the example is Romeo and Juliet. So the list of events and who is in each event, right? So here we have Romeo is participating in this event. Capulet is observing this event, and Verona is the location. So here you have a table that puts people or locations or whatever you want in events and assigns them a role in those events. Okay, so what will this allows you to do is to track participants across events. But obviously, and that's where the power of these tools really kick in, you can define anything as a character, right? So for example, you can have specific pieces of, if you're like me, you're doing research on information systems, you can have specific artifacts being used in a specific event in your research setting. You can have different organizations participating in an event in your research setting, and ultimately you can have codes associated with each event in your research setting, right? So basically what this allows you to do is to bring time into your analysis, right? So for example, if you have if you do a practice-based theorizing, like I do, right, where you have specific practices, in my case with information systems, right, you can see how practices evolve and how technologies are used differently from the beginning to the end of a change process. So this, I would say, is super powerful tool if you want to include time in your analysis in a simple way. And obviously you could just do a timeline, but if you think about this table, this is basically a two-mode network, and two-mode networks are really are powerful data sets for analysis. So for example, one of the things that you can do is you can see how specific practices or codes or technologies interact with one another, right? So here we have characters, these are people, and we see how, people interact with one another, and how they then diverge and so on and so forth. Again, this can be anything. So this could be technologies, so events where technologies are being used together, or practices where people are having different types of behavior at the same time. So this really allows you to get a really fine-grained sense of the evolution of whatever you're coding for, practices, people, technology, meanings across time. And this is a really missing layer in qualitative research. I mean, I do have papers that, have a timeline and say, this happened first, this happened second, but I'm really not analyzing this data. I'm really not bringing a temporal perspective into this data. And the main reason I have failed to do this in the past is, because I was missing a tool, because I was missing a representation. And, obviously, there are papers that have some simplistic representations of different practices and different technologies and different artifacts and different codes as time goes by, but not really as powerful as this. So I would really encourage you, there's a demo for Ion Timeline that you can download. I'd really encourage you to download the demo and play a little bit with it with your research and really see whether it can be as powerful as I'm trying to tell you that it can be. Okay, just want to show you two more screens here. Okay, this is the screen where you enter events, just to show you how quickly and effective you can enter data into the software. So here's the label for the event. You can have the event as a type. So you could have something like, if you're studying a change process, you can have something like, here they're deciding about change, here they are communicating change, here there are people reacting to change. So you can have types of events. Color is just a label, and then start dates and durations, and you can enter participants here. Okay, and and I want to show you this one. This one is super cool because this allows you to organize events into boxes, into chapters in this case. So this is super useful if you are thinking about how to organize your results section in your paper, where you can really go through the timeline and see what events do you want to put there. Finally, final screen is the screen which is a mind map view, and in mind map here, this is a freehand mind mapping tool. So these relationships are not calculated from this data here. This is just it allows you to put whatever thing you have in, so characters, scenes, locations, whatever, and just link them freehand. So could be a really interesting tool to think with. But obviously, there are many more mind mapping tools, and we've discussed Scalpel in the past. But what this does is it allows you to play with codes and data and events that you have in Ion Timeline. Okay, so try it out, especially if you're doing long-term ethnographic work, and you'll see that this really allows you to bring the temporal dimension of what you're studying into your research. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I apologize for not having streamed lately. I just been having a truckload of meetings, either all day, all afternoon. So it's been really pushed. But hopefully we'll get back to the normal schedule starting next week. So again, hope you enjoy this, and thanks so much for watching. Bye bye, everybody.